Hi everyone, and welcome to your second and final lesson on the samurai in medieval Japan, located under the Samurai tab of the Japan under the Shogun Teaching and Learning website resource. Now, last lesson, we looked at who the samurai were and what they did. In this lesson, lesson 2, we're going to look at samurai weapons and armor. Your success criteria for the lesson is located here. So by the end of the lesson, you need to know the weapons and armor used by the samurai, and you need to be able to compare the weapons used by the samurai and medieval knights. So let's dive into some key content. These are the different types of weapon that samurai use. So first we have the katana. It's a curved longsword used by the samurai. The katana was famous for being extremely sharp and sacred to the samurai who used it. The tanto is a short blade used for close range attacks. This weapon was also sacred to the samurai as it was used in the seppuku ritual. The wakizashi was like the katana but smaller. It was used for close range fights, but it was more powerful than the tanto. It was often worn with the katana. The nagitana. So the nagitana was a long spear with a short sword blade on the end. It was mostly used by onobukeshis. It was slower but heavier than a katana. And then a yumi. A yumi was a longbow used by the samurai. It could be used on horseback and used for long range attacks. And the kabutowari. So the kabutowari was a longer, heavier weapon. And the word kabutowari means helmet breaker or skull breaker. So this was used for high impact damage. So let's compare samurai and knights. So if you watch this video here, it's a really nice 5-minute video that goes over the differences between a katana and a long sword that knights used to use. Let's have a look at the armor. So a samurai's armor looks a bit like this. We can see the advantages are it's light and fast and it allowed for movement, and a samurai could fight on horseback. The disadvantages is that it had less protection than a knight's armor. The metal was weaker and it was vulnerable to arrows in the joints. So we can see that the armor really suited a samurai's fighting style of being really fast, movable and quick, whereas a knight's armor was heavier and slower but used for more protection. So the advantages of a knight's armor is that it covered the whole body. It was made of tougher metal and it had a size advantage. Once a knight put their armor on, they looked a lot bigger than they actually were. The disadvantages of a knight's armor is that it's slow and hard to move. It's very heavy and it has limited vision compared to a samurai's armor. So task 1 for this lesson is comprehension questions based on the content from lesson 1 and 2, and answer the following questions in your book. So what are the 7 virtues of Bushido? What does Bushido mean? Who are the samurai loyal to? What is seppuku? Why did samurai commit seppuku? What is a ronin? What is the name of the sword that was sacred to the samurai? Question 8, what's the katana used for? Number 9, what's the yumi used for? Number 10, what's the tanto used for? Number 11, what were the female samurai called? Number 12, what was the name of the weapon female samurai used? 13, what is the name of the sword that is similar to the katana? Number 14, what weapon's name means helmet breaker or skull breaker? And then number 15, why could the samurai fight on horseback as well? That will link heavily to their armor. Task 2 is the armor worksheet. So if you're in class, this worksheet will be provided to you, but if you're learning at home, you can click on the button here that brings you to a new tab and print it. Let's have a look at the worksheet together. So we've got the 2 pictures of the armor here. So your first task is advantages and disadvantages. So you need to come up with 4 advantages for samurai's and knight's armor, and then 4 disadvantages for samurai's and knight's armor. Now you can use some of the information here, but you can see there's only 3 per one, so you'll need to come up with a 4th on your own anyway. And then lastly, similarities and differences. So how are these 2 different types of armor used by 2 different types of warriors similar and different to each other? So we want 4 similarities and then 4 differences between a samurai and a knight's armor. Once you finish that worksheet, make sure you go ahead and glue it in your book as well. Task 3 is a bit of fun, so use this worksheet to draw a samurai using one of the weapons we learned about this lesson. Make sure to draw your samurai wearing armor and write the name of the weapon in the description. So again, this worksheet will be provided for you in class, if you're in class, but if you're learning at home, you can print it out like so. So you draw a samurai, you draw their armor, and then you draw one of the weapons from up here that we learned about this lesson, and you draw the weapon in one of their hands, and then you say samurai using A. It might be a katana, might be a tanto. Make sure you draw all their armor. You can use Google Images to help you with that one as well, just to get the right color and shapes of armor. stuff like that. And then lastly, to summarize the content of the last 2 lessons, if you click on the image here, it'll take you to a Kahoot you can play with your class as well. So just to recap this lesson, we've learned about the different types of armor between a samurai and a knight to better understand the armor of a samurai and what it was used for, its purposes and functions, and we've learned about the types of weapons used by the samurai as well. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you for our next lesson on Japan under the Shogun. If you like using these resources and want to stay updated to any new websites or any new lessons that are made in existing websites like this one here, please go ahead and subscribe. Thank you.